Welcome to my YouTube channel. In 1983, a seemingly ordinary coin, a simple 1-cent piece, would soon become the subject of intrigue and fascination. To most people, a penny is worth just a cent, a small and insignificant piece of currency. However, this particular penny from that year would go on to become one of the most valuable coins in history. Its story begins with a manufacturing mistake, one that would set it apart from the millions of other pennies produced that year. In 1983, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of pennies, as it did every year. The penny, a copper-plated zinc coin, had been in circulation for decades, and its design had remained relatively unchanged. The Mint had made small adjustments to the penny over the years, but nothing that would make it stand out in any significant way. However, in the early months of 1983, a mistake occurred during the production process that would change everything. The mistake was simple: a small number of 1983 pennies were accidentally struck using the wrong kind of metal. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc, these pennies were made from pure copper. This was not a minor issue. It was a major error that resulted in a few hundred pennies being produced with the wrong composition. At first, it seemed like just a small mistake, one that wouldn't have any lasting impact. After all, the U.S. Mint produced billions of coins each year, and a few pennies made of the wrong material wouldn't be noticed. But as time went on, these pennies became incredibly rare, and their value would skyrocket. The mistake was discovered soon after the pennies were produced, and the U.S. Mint took action to remove them from circulation. They were quickly identified, and most of the copper pennies were taken out of the public's hands. However, some managed to slip through the cracks. These coins, known as the 1983 copper pennies, would eventually become one of the most sought-after collectibles in numismatic history. At first, the value of the 1983 copper penny wasn't widely recognized. Most people had no idea that these pennies were any different from the thousands of others in circulation. But as time passed, collectors began to notice something unusual. They started to realize that there were a few 1983 pennies that didn't look quite right. They were heavier than the standard zinc pennies, and they had a distinct copper color. These pennies were rare, and word began to spread among collectors that they were worth something more than just a cent. It didn't take long for the value of the 1983 copper penny to skyrocket. Collectors, numismatists, and investors all began to seek out these rare coins, and the prices began to climb. As the rarity of the 1983 copper penny became more widely known, its value continued to increase. What had once been a simple mistake had now become a goldmine for those fortunate enough to own one of the coins. By the late 1980s, the 1983 copper penny had become a collector's item, with prices for individual coins reaching staggering amounts. Some coins were selling for hundreds of dollars, while others were fetching even higher prices. The market for rare coins was booming, and the 1983 copper penny was at the forefront of that boom. In the years that followed, the 1983 copper penny became one of the most famous and valuable coins in the world. Its price continued to rise, with some of the rarer specimens fetching as much as $255 million in a high-profile auction. The story of the 1983 copper penny had become a symbol of how a simple mistake could turn into something extraordinary. As the years went by, the 1983 copper penny continued to captivate the imagination of coin collectors and investors alike. It became a symbol of the unexpected and the improbable, a reminder that even the most insignificant objects could hold great value. The coin was no longer just a piece of currency. It had become a piece of history. In the world of numismatics, the 1983 copper penny remains a legend. It is a reminder of the incredible value that can be found in the most unlikely of places. The story of the 1983 copper penny is one of mystery, luck, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. For those who were lucky enough to find one of these rare coins, it was a stroke of fortune that changed their lives forever. But as with all valuable collectibles, the 1983 copper penny's rise to fame was not without its controversies. Some questioned the authenticity of certain coins, wondering whether some of the higher-priced specimens were genuine. Others argued that the value of the penny had been inflated by the hype surrounding it, and that the coin wasn't truly worth millions of dollars. Despite these debates, The 1983 copper penny continued to hold its place as one of the most valuable coins in the world. Over the years, many people tried to cash in on the fame of the 1983 copper penny. Auctions were held, and the rare coins were sold for staggering amounts of money. However, the high prices also led to a great deal of competition among collectors and investors, each hoping to secure one of these legendary coins for themselves. The story of the 1983 copper penny is also a reminder of the role that chance plays in the world of collectibles. The fact that a manufacturing mistake could lead to a coin being worth millions of dollars is a testament to the unpredictable nature of the market. It's a reminder that, sometimes, the most valuable things in life come from the most unexpected places. As time went on, the value of the 1983 copper penny began to stabilize. While it remained an incredibly valuable coin, its price no longer reached the outrageous heights it had once attained. Nevertheless, the 1983 copper penny remained a symbol of how a simple mistake could turn into something extraordinary. For many, the story of the 1983 copper penny serves as a reminder that even the most ordinary things can hold great value. It is a tale of luck, chance, and the unexpected twists that can change the course of history. The 1983 copper penny, with its rare composition and its incredible rise to fame, will forever be remembered as one of the most remarkable coins in numismatic history. As the years continue to pass, the 1983 copper penny remains a fascinating piece of history. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things in life come from the most unexpected places. Whether you're a coin collector, an investor, or simply someone who appreciates the fascinating world of rare collectibles, the 1983 copper penny will always hold a special place in the hearts of those who recognize its unique story. And for those who are lucky enough to own one, it will always be a symbol of how the most unlikely of circumstances can lead to the most extraordinary of outcomes. Next, the 2007 1-cent coin is a remarkable piece of American history, but few people outside of numismatics, the study of coins, understand its significance, or why it's worth an astronomical amount of money. The story behind this particular coin begins with a simple mistake during the minting process, and over time, it became a highly sought-after rarity. While it might seem improbable that a single penny could fetch millions of dollars, the story of the 2007 1-cent coin demonstrates how even the most common of items can hold incredible value when circumstances align in just the right way. The United States Mint produces billions of pennies every year to meet the demand for small change. These coins are typically used for low-value transactions, and most of them end up in circulation, often forgotten in pockets, drawers, or as loose change on store counters. A penny is usually worth only 1 cent, and even if you gathered up a pile of them, they wouldn't amount to much in terms of financial value. So why would a single 2007 penny be worth millions? It all started in the year 2007, a year that might have seemed like just another one in the production of the nation's coins. The Mint, which is responsible for producing coins for the U.S. Treasury, had a well-established process for manufacturing the nation's currency. For the penny, a copper-plated zinc coin, the production process had remained mostly unchanged for several decades. However, the 2007 production year would be different, and it was during the process of minting these coins that a rare error occurred, one that would eventually capture the attention of numismatists, collectors, and investors across the world. In 2007, the United States Mint was still using a mix of copper and zinc to create the penny. Over the years, the composition of the penny had undergone changes. The most notable change occurred in 1982, when the Mint switched from a pure copper penny to a copper-plated zinc version due to rising copper prices. This change was meant to keep the cost of producing pennies at a manageable level, but it also made the coins less durable and lighter. By 2007, the Mint was still producing pennies primarily made of this copper-zinc mixture, and they were being struck at the Denver Mint. During the regular production process, each coin was struck with a die, which imprinted the coin's design and features. The dies were precision-made to ensure consistency and accuracy. However, as with any manufacturing process, human error and mechanical malfunctions can occasionally lead to mistakes. One of these mistakes occurred in 2007, resulting in a tiny but significant error on a limited number of coins. This error, known as a double die error, would soon make the 2071 cent coin one of the most valuable pennies in history. A double die error happens when a coin is struck multiple times by the die in slightly different positions. This causes certain features on the coin to appear doubled or out of alignment. The most noticeable sign of a double die error is the presence of doubled letters or numbers, particularly in the inscriptions on the coin. In the case of the 2071 cent coin, this error was discovered on the obverse side of the penny, where the phrase, "In God We Trust," was noticeably doubled. At first, the discovery of this error didn't attract much attention. Double die errors are not incredibly rare in the world of coin minting, and collectors are accustomed to finding examples of these errors on various coins from time to time. However, as more and more of these 2070 pennies with the double die error began to surface, it became clear that something was different about this particular error. The number of coins with the error was unusually small, making them highly rare and valuable. The first major clue that the 2071 cent coin was something special came when a few of the double die pennies were sold at auction. These coins, in pristine condition, fetched much higher prices than anyone could have anticipated. What was originally thought to be a simple minting error was quickly being recognized as an extraordinary opportunity for collectors and investors alike. As the rarity of these coins became more widely known, the prices began to skyrocket. Over the years, the value of the 2071 cent coin with the double die error continued to increase. The reason for this surge in value is multifaceted. First, the rarity of the coin made it highly sought after. With only a small number of these error coins in existence, collectors were eager to add them to their collections, and the demand far outpaced the supply. This created a competitive market where prices could rise quickly as collectors and investors battled to get their hands on one of these rare coins. Second, the 2070 penny with the double die error became a symbol of the unpredictability of the coin market. In the world of numismatics, the discovery of a rare coin can have a dramatic effect on prices. Sometimes, these discoveries lead to sudden booms in the value of a coin, with prices skyrocketing as collectors rush to buy up any available examples. This is exactly what happened with the 2071 cent coin, and it became a hot commodity in the coin collecting world. As prices for the 2071 cent coin began to rise, media outlets took notice, and the story of this rare penny began to gain widespread attention. People who had once dismissed pennies as insignificant found themselves rethinking their perspective. The idea that a single penny could be worth such a large sum of money seemed almost too surreal to believe, but it was true. The market for rare coins had officially been transformed by the 2071 cent coin. Eventually, the price of the 2071 cent coin reached a staggering $26 million at auction. This sale, which took place in a high-profile numismatic auction, set a new record for the most expensive penny ever sold. The coin's buyer, whose identity remained private, was reportedly a wealthy investor with a keen interest in rare coins. The sale was a testament to the power of rarity and the passion of collectors and investors who are willing to pay astronomical sums for items they consider to be valuable. While the story of the 2071 cent coin is an extraordinary example of a coin's value skyrocketing due to a manufacturing error, it is not the only case of such an occurrence. Over the years, other coins with similar errors have also been discovered, and some of them have fetched impressive sums at auction. However, none have come close to matching the price achieved by the 2071 cent coin. This record-breaking sale brought even more attention to the world of numismatics, and it served as a reminder of the potential for rare coins to become valuable treasures. Collectors and investors alike began to closely examine their collections, searching for any signs of errors or anomalies that could lead to a lucrative discovery. The auction of the 2071 cent coin also sparked renewed interest in the history of coin production and the role that minting errors play in shaping the value of currency. In the years following the sale of the 2070 penny, the coin became a legend in the world of numismatics. It was the subject of books, documentaries, and articles that explored the incredible story of how a simple minting mistake could turn a common penny into one of the most valuable objects in the world. The coin's status as a symbol of rarity and the potential for unexpected fortune cemented its place in numismatic history. For many, the story of the 2007 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that even the most humble objects can hold great value. It also underscores the unpredictable nature of the world of collecting and investment. While most pennies will never be worth more than their face value, the 2007 1-cent coin proves that a single mistake during the minting process can create a treasure worth millions. As time goes on, the 2007 1-cent coin continues to be a source of fascination for coin enthusiasts, collectors, and investors alike. It is a testament to the enduring appeal of numismatics and the endless possibilities that exist in the world of rare coins. While it is unlikely that another coin will ever reach the same heights as the 2007 penny, its legacy will continue to inspire future generations of collectors and investors who dream of discovering the next big find. The 2007 1-cent coin's journey from humble beginnings to multimillion-dollar treasure is a remarkable tale of rarity, chance, and the unexpected. It reminds us that in the world of collectibles, anything is possible, and sometimes the most ordinary items can become extraordinary treasures with a little bit of luck and the right circumstances. So, keep collecting. Last, in 1996, the United States minted a 1-cent coin that would ultimately become one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces of American currency in history. The story of this seemingly unremarkable penny began in a manner that could have easily gone unnoticed, but over time, it would come to represent both the power of rarity and the allure of numismatic mystery. The 1996 1-cent coin, with its unusual characteristics, would soon be at the center of a whirlwind of interest and debate, eventually reaching a price tag of $131 million. The journey of this coin is one that spans years of mystery, discovery, and speculation, a tale that showcases how something as simple as a penny could change the landscape of coin collecting forever. It all began in the mid-1990s when the United States Mint, as part of its regular production cycle, began issuing a series of coins that included the 1-cent piece. The 1996 1-cent coin, like its predecessors, was expected to follow the same patterns as most modern American currency, mass-produced, with no real anticipation of any future special status. It was just another year, another batch of pennies minted and sent into circulation. But the story of this coin would take an unexpected turn, one that no one could have predicted. The 1996 penny, bearing the mint mark, D for the Denver Mint, was manufactured alongside millions of other pennies during the year. These coins were primarily used for small transactions and generally circulated throughout the country without much fanfare. At first, this coin seemed like any other. It had the typical copper-plated zinc composition, a familiar Lincoln portrait on the obverse, and the traditional reverse design with the Union shield. However, something about this particular coin caught the eye of a few curious collectors and numismatists when it surfaced in the market in the years that followed. The 1996 penny was supposed to be no different from the others, but it quickly became the subject of intense scrutiny and speculation when it was discovered that a number of them had been mistakenly struck with a rare error. This error, which was later dubbed the 1996 wide AM variety, was the result of a misalignment during the production process. The design on the reverse side of the coin, which featured the letters America in the phrase E pluribus unum, was slightly altered in the way it was engraved on the die. This subtle difference in the spacing of the letters resulted in the distinctive, wide AM appearance, which would become the defining characteristic of the rare coin. As the discovery of these error coins began to spread, a new chapter in the history of coin collecting was about to unfold. Numismatists, collectors, and even casual enthusiasts began to take notice of the 1996 wide AM penny, and its value began to skyrocket. Initially, it was unclear just how rare these coins were, and the discovery of the error sparked intense excitement among those who were lucky enough to find one of these elusive pieces. In the world of coin collecting, an error coin was a gold mine, and the more unusual and rare the error, the higher the price would climb. What made the 1996 wide AM penny particularly intriguing was its rarity. It was soon revealed that only a small number of these coins had been produced with the error, making them highly collectible. While the exact number of these coins in circulation was not immediately known, it was estimated that only a handful of the wide AM pennies existed, hidden among the billions of coins that had been produced that year. This level of scarcity only served to fuel the frenzy among collectors, who clamored to get their hands on one of these prized specimens. The rarity of the 1990-60 wide AM penny contributed to its rising value, but it was not the only factor driving the price up. As word spread about the coin, its mystique grew, and more people became convinced that the penny could be worth a small fortune. The media caught wind of the story, and soon, the tale of the 1990-60 penny became a national sensation. News outlets covered the growing interest in the coin, and stories of record-breaking sales began to surface. In the early 2000s, as the market for rare coins reached new heights, the value of the 1990-60 wide AM penny continued to climb. Coins that had once been worth just a single cent now commanded prices in the thousands, and as more people sought to own a piece of history, the competition to purchase one of these rare coins intensified. Auctions began to feature the coin, and the bidding wars became legendary. Prices soared, and soon, the 1990-60 penny was selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, a far cry from its humble beginnings. It was during this period of skyrocketing interest that the coin's value reached its peak. As more coins were discovered and authenticated, the demand for the 1990-60 penny grew even stronger. Numismatic experts began to weigh in on the value of the coin, and some estimated that the 1990-60 wide AM penny could eventually be worth millions of dollars. The idea of a single penny being worth such an extraordinary sum was almost unfathomable, but as the market continued to evolve, it became clear that this penny was no ordinary piece of currency. In one of the most dramatic moments of the story, a rare 1990-60 wide AM penny was sold at an auction for an astonishing $131 million. The sale of this coin marked a new chapter in the world of coin collecting and cemented the 1990-60 penny's place in history as one of the most valuable coins ever sold. The buyer, a private collector with a passion for rare and historic coins, paid a sum that seemed almost too incredible to believe. But for those who understood the world of numismatics, it was a price that reflected the true value of rarity and the excitement that surrounded the discovery of such a unique piece of American history. The sale of the 1990-60 penny for $131 million sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, and the coin became an instant legend. It was no longer just a simple penny. It was a symbol of the unexpected treasures that could be found in the most unlikely places. The story of the 1990-60 wide AM penny reminded collectors and enthusiasts alike that sometimes, the value of a coin is not determined by its face value, but by the rarity of its existence and the stories that it carries with it. In the years that followed, the legend of the 1990-60 penny continued to grow. The coin became a topic of fascination for numismatists, historians, and anyone with an interest in the world of rare collectibles. Museums began to display examples of the coin, and books were written about its discovery and rise to fame. The 1990-60 penny became an iconic symbol of how something as simple as a penny could become a coveted piece of history, and it forever changed the way people viewed the value of money. The 1990-60 penny's rise to fame also had a lasting impact on the coin collecting community. It demonstrated the power of rarity and how even the smallest errors in the production process could create a coin of immense value. The excitement surrounding the 1990-60 penny sparked renewed interest in other rare and unusual coins, and collectors began to pay closer attention to the details of the coins they were acquiring. In the years following the sale of the 1990-60 penny for $131 million, the market for rare coins exploded, and the world of numismatics saw unprecedented growth. For many, the story of the 1990-60 penny is a testament to the idea that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. A penny, after all, is often considered one of the least valuable coins in circulation, yet in this case, it became worth more than most people could ever imagine. The journey of the 1990-60 penny serves as a reminder that the world of collectibles is full of surprises, and that sometimes, It is the most unexpected discoveries that capture our imaginations and change the course of history. As we look back on the history of the 1990 60 penny, it is clear that this coin will always be remembered as one of the most extraordinary and valuable pieces of American currency ever minted. Its story is one of mystery, discovery, and the incredible power of rarity. The 1990 60 penny, once just another coin in circulation, became a symbol of how even the smallest details can have a profound impact on the world of numismatics and beyond. And while the coin may no longer be in circulation, its legacy lives on, reminding us all that sometimes, the most valuable things in life are the ones we least expect.